We had a major injury today in my lunch pail. It took an enormous hit, and it is out for the year.
I don't know if you call that a hit.
You know what? I don't even know if we can send him to surgery. He's
that was pancake.
That was pancake. Yeah.
What do you carry in that thing?
My stuff, man. My stuff. No, we just it's a prop. You know, you use different things, and I kind of like it. But it's not a survivor. It's 10. So
you look sad walking over here.
I'm really bothered by the fact that my lunch pail took the hit that it did. It's my own fault. I put it right under the tire of the tower guy, thinking that the tower was in his spot, but he had to move it, and it just got crunched. So fortunately, my phones didn't get it. But good practice. We had to start over there. Just, you know, you get to practice whatever 12 or 13, and sometimes minds start to wander a little bit, and it's my responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen. And they got back on track, and they had a good practice. You know, there's still kids that are maturing, they're into young men, and we got to remind them sometimes, and sometimes kind of harshly, that this is a serious business. You know, so but I've been impressed with the way they've responded, really, to everything that we've thrown at them. And you know, as I've said, you come to camp, and you want it to be stressful, you want it to be intense, you want it to be difficult. I mean, that's what you're trying to create, situations like that, so when you get to the season, they know how to react. And so we're constantly trying to put them in stressful situations where they have to adjust, whether it's the music, or it's coaches climbing on them, or it's the intensity of a competitive period. It's just all about trying to develop a mindset that allows you to go forward in the season and handle some of the things that maybe we haven't handled as well as I'd like to see us handle. And so it's been good, and they've reacted extremely well. I see a level of maturity developing on this team that has been absent the last 3 years, so that's encouraging. So that's it.
How's Tack doing?
That's why I yell at the quarterbacks.
How's Tack doing?
Tack, he got hit in the head. He was much better this morning. I believe that, you know, out of precaution more than anything, we won't have him do anything until we get back to campus on Monday. Tavita was asymptomatic this morning. You know, I'll probably lean towards keeping him out until Monday as well. You know, with those head injuries, I'd rather just err always on the side of caution. So, but neither of them were, you know, serious to the point where they had to go to the hospital, or, you know, they had to stay in a dark room. They've been able to go to meetings and do things like that. So that's a positive sign. Connor should be back on Monday. He could probably come back tomorrow, but I'm not going to have him do that. Jake, he'll be back on Monday. I don't want to jinx myself with a couple days to go, but it's been, you know, a relatively injury-free camp compared to some we've had out here in the past, where you guys would see it, the bikes would just be full. And I think they've adjusted to the heat well. They've adjusted to the intensity. Once again, I think it's just kind of, to me, a sign of maturity. They stay on their feet, you know. And they practice hard with intensity and competitive, but they stay on their feet, and so guys don't get hurt as much. So.
This deep in, who are some of the young guys that have really flashed you now?
Well, on offense, two in particular, Fred Ulu-Perry and Bolu. Fred is explosive, and he's strong. He can play center. You see, we've been playing him at guard. The reason we've been playing him at guard and moved Alex into center is, you know, Fred, that center has to call so many things, and he's just not quite there yet with the mental part of it. He's still learning so many things, and so his snaps were just a little bit late, and it was getting our timing off on offense. Alex can move in there and do a good job, and maybe Freddie's you know, we want Freddie to be able to play center and guard anyway, if he's our swing guy. And then you know, Bolu, he's really a good back, man. He's decisive, he's patient, he's got power, he's got speed, he's got quickness. I've been really impressed with him. Defensively, the guy that I think probably catches everybody's eye is Octavius. You know, I made another really nice interception today. He's very fluid athletically. He's very, very smart. You know, he's got corner skills, but he can play that. He's kind of that rangy free safety that you're looking for. So I think that, you know, he can help us this year. I've liked the two big corners. They got a ways to go, you know, but I like the big corners. So that's Deshaun and Colin. So me think who else is. Rick Wade's caught my eye too. You know, and I don't know what the plan will be with Rick going forward in terms of whether or not, you know, we'll play him or redshirt him, but he's a much different player than I thought he'd be at this point in his career. He's bigger, he's more physical, he's got a nasty streak. I like him a lot as well. There's not one that has been disappointing, I can tell you that. There's just some that have stood out a little bit more than others, but none of them are disappointing. As a matter of fact, it's an encouraging class.
Does Polo give you a little different style of running than other guys?
I think he absolutely does. I think you know, he's got a low center of gravity. He's thick, and yet he doesn't take long strides. You know, and he's got power and he's got good change of direction. Much better than I thought it would be, and he's much quicker and faster than I thought he'd be. He seems to always lean forward. You know, I stand back behind the offense, and so you get a really good feel for where the hole's going to be. And he finds it, and when he sees it, you know, he'll be patient, but when he finds it, he gets downhill in a hurry. You know, and you'll even see him sometimes getting the edge on things, and then when he gets the edge, he doesn't just keep running the sideline, he puts his foot in the ground and he gets downhill. He's been very impressive to me. Very impressive.
Is ball security the biggest concern for him right now?
Well, yeah, you know, you saw today, he makes that great move on Deshaun, and everyone starts going, ooh, and then Deshaun with those long arms reaches out and punches the ball out. And, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of move you make or how hard you hit the hole, if you don't come out of the pile and hand it to the official, you know, it's not a good play. So we have to constantly stress that and work on it with him. I don't think that it'll be a problem, but it has shown up a couple times. Yeah, absolutely.
Coach, what do you say to some of the critical response of how you talked to Josh the other day?
That's ridiculous to me, that this is football. And I'm not going to change the way I coach just because there's fans and media out here. I mean, like I said at the start, you're trying to put these guys in stressful situations. You're trying to test them. You're sometimes setting things up to see how they handle it. You know, this is, to me, this is where you do all of that. On game day, what you see me do is support those guys and be there for them. Out here, it's about toughening them physically, mentally, and emotionally to be able to go in front of that, in that Rose Bowl in front of 85,000 fans against a great opponent and perform in a stressful situation. So if the music was up, no one would have heard me. I do that stuff all the time. You can ask them. Hell, I got Jerry today. You saw it. It's just part of the deal, you know. I mean, that's my job, to make sure that they get the most out of what God gave them and protect all that they've worked for and all that they're working towards. And so I'm not going to let anyone go through the motions at any time. And it starts with me.
What's your relationship with Josh?
Oh, it's about as tight as you could get. I mean, I've known Josh. You know, I think about, I'm close with all these guys, you know, all of them. But I've known him for a long time, you know. I mean, heck, on Christmas Eve, he fell asleep on my couch. Me and he were watching a movie together. You know, I mean, it's that kind of deal. So,
What movie?
I don't know, I think Jimmy Stewart. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. That was probably like the Grinch. About me, the Grinch. So, no, you know what? These guys, they like tough coaching. They do. You know, it shows them that you care. And with a quarterback, like I said, you gotta test them sometimes. You gotta put them in situations where, you know, they're stressed out and they're on edge, and how do they handle it? You know, you never know. And I want to find out on a Saturday when it really counts. So it's just coaching. I think it's ridiculous, quite frankly, that anyone even makes anything of it. I think it's the most ludicrous, insane thing that even anyone would even write something. Now, you wrote something funny. You wrote something that anyone would like criticize it. It's like blows me away that anyone would criticize it. Obviously, they've never been to a practice. So, anyway.
You guys good?
We good?
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Coach.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.